Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. Kurbmeister Klotz, back in the garage, working on my race car replicas GT40 kit car. It's been a while since I did a video, so this is just kind of an update of what I've been up to. Working on engine, fabbing up the rear engine mount, mounting the alternator, a little bit of fab work there. I had to change around that water pump. I'll show you that. We'll be putting the alternator, water pump, tensioner on today, and I'll show you some of the stuff I've recently purchased: thermostat housing, bypass hose, good stuff like that. Stick around. Okay, I did some fab work, and it started all out as how to mount the alternator and the AC compressor. Of course, this is the crank, that's the water pump. These are either idlers or tensioners. So it was obvious from the start that the Corvette 145 amp was never going to fit. It was designed on the LS7 to sit right here. Wasn't going to make it, no way. So I shopped around. I got a Denso, little tiny alternator. The kit came with an alternator that was mid-size, but also not going to fit. So anyway, I got a small alternator. It's a 90 amp. And then the kit came with this Sandin SD7 compressor, which is a nice unit. And it's also small, about the same body size. And so I'll be able to tuck it. Well, this will be the alternator. And then the AC compressor will go on the passenger side. But back to those drawings. So I thought about putting originally the AC was the kit came with brackets that would mount it right there, but it was going to interfere with the sponson or the chassis. This is the chassis here. The air conditioning, I was going to need to cut into the chassis, and that was no go for me. I thought about trying to mount the starter in that position, but I decided against it. I also looked at this idea, and I thought I would do this for quite a while, and just barely clearing the bottom of the car. That would be air conditioning. That would be the alternator. And one belt solution. One belt does everything. And I drew arrows here, show rotation. The water pump wants to go counterclockwise. Everything else is a clockwise direction. I thought about ideas like this. And well, this one I was showing you here has two belts. The harmonic balancer from the Corvette is set up for two belts. I'll show you what I came up with. So I do have enough room for these smaller units, not by much, maybe a 1/4 inch. So that's kind of like 1/8 of an inch on either side, but that's okay. Solid motor mounts, nothing's going to move. I get to use one belt. I already have this tensioner. I have to fab up this air conditioning bracket. I haven't started yet. But I do have the alternator ready to go on. We'll put the water pump on after I did some mods. So the water pump originally had the inlet come out straight out this way, and it was going to touch the firewall. There was no room for that snout or that nipple. So I searched online. I bought a bung with a weldable flange, and had a friend weld it up for me. So that came out pretty good. And this is the original tensioner. Will go on there, about like that. I bought a different thermostat housing that I can rotate. And the LS needs this bypass hose. And that goes, I'm not using these heater hose. I'm tapping off the hot water on the front end of the car at the radiator. So this is just going to be a bypass, but that'll help in my cooling. And of course I got gaskets. This is my new thermostat I'll be opening up. And we'll be getting that alternator on. I'll show you my valve covers. So the valve covers on the LS had the coil mounting. And I never liked having the coils on the valve cover. I could see the benefits. You had basically like 6-inch wires going from a plug to a coil, which is really good. But as far as looks wise, it didn't look too good. So I ground off all the mounts for the coils, and I had to epoxy up the holes. So pretty good job. And it didn't cost me anything. I can get new valve covers in the future if I don't like it. So the engine, the mounts are all in. I had to reverse the bolts, so the bolts will come out this way. But let me reposition the camera, because we're going to be working right in there. Now, I almost forgot to mention, I'm fabbing up a rear mount for the transaxle. So I'll actually have a mount on either side for the engine. And then I've got this plate. I don't know where that bolt's going through. I don't know if it'll focus. Anyway, so that's the midpoint of the engine and transaxle. That's a big bolt. And then in the back, I made up this this thing here. I want to send it to send, cut, send. And I have to learn CAD drawing before I can do that. It's kind of hard to do at my age. The Porsche Transaxle originally had this mount here, and it's upside down. And I wasn't going to be able to use this. I couldn't see how I could use this as a support. So I cut that shit off. I think it came out pretty good. I also trimmed about 1 inch off of here, and I fabbed up this. So this is going to go under here like that, and this will bolt to the back here, and it'll support the back end of that transaxle, so it can't move. The original kit came with a nice piece of aluminum angle here, but I decided I wanted steel, and so I already put this piece on. So this is just a steel piece that I added for structure to hold this transaxle. Like I said, I'm trying to learn this CAD drawing stuff. Is this here, and the idea is it'll be cut out, and this will drop onto, this is a bobbin, so that when the rear clam is closed, it'll sit something like that, and it'll be captured in these forks, one on each side. And then when I open the clam up, it'll be straight up like this, and if I want to remove the clam, I'll just have to disconnect some wires, and I'll be able to lift this right off. So again, closed, it'll be something like that. It won't be able to move because it'll be pinned up front at the firewall. And of course there's latches on the side too. And this piece here will mount on the rear clam something like that. So 4 holes to mount it. This is cut out where my thumb is, and it'll slide onto that bobbin. So I'll be able to remove the rear clam easily. So I'll need 2 of these babies. That's the plan. All right, the alternator mount, pretty simple. I just had to cut up this piece, find some spacers and bolts, and we can go ahead and put that alternator on. And then we'll put the water pump on. Okay, I'll try not to block the video. So I got the alternator, serpentine pulley. This is the upper hole. I had to drill out a little bit, no problem. And I got a few spacers. Nice heavy washer to grab the alternator. So I had a couple of stainless washers there because I couldn't get an 1/8 inch spacer. I'm doing this watching the camera myself. Not too bad. All right, same thing for the lower mount. I had my little bracket I fabricated. Goes like that. So there's the bracket, heavy washer, heavy duty spacer, 2 spacers, 3 spacers. I like it better like that. See if I can get the angle right on that without seeing it. There we go. And the last thing is the lower tab on the alternator is threaded. So I'll put this in and then we can tighten everything up. I can do it blind. Oh, that wasn't it. There we go. And get that in finger tight. and secure these. Okay, that baby's on there. I did run a straight edge to make sure it's straight. And I like the looks of that. So we'll put the water pump on next, right here. And I have that right over here. Got some new Fel-Pro gaskets. I already cleaned this surface. No stickum. So I'll be holding those gaskets in place with the water pump bolts. You can see my new nipple. I had a 7/8 drill to drill here. I need to hand file it to 1.5 inches. Took hours. I know you think a high speed would work good, but the aluminum gums it right up after less than a minute. And the high speed's worthless. And I tried little drum sanding wheels or little drum sanding rolls. Same thing, they would just gum up. So it seemed like the file was the only way to go. So that's the way I did it. But a friend of mine did a nice weld, and then he welded up this to block off the original. Not good. Okay, so I have this kit here. This is that heater bypass hose. Actually has 2 different size nipples. And that allows the water pump to keep flowing. You don't want to run it without that. I know some people just block it off and have good luck, but with the 7-liter engine, I want to make sure I got all the cooling possible. So by bypassing this here, I don't have to run the coolant for the heater all the way through the car. And I like that. Try to keep the temps down inside the car. So I'm not going to secure those for right now. I did get the water pump outlet was going right down there, the original one. And that wasn't going to work very good. So I bought an adjustable. Looks like this. I'll just put it on with the original bolts. Well, yeah, I'll just put it on with these for right now. It actually came with Allen. Allen had bolts, but I didn't bring my Allen wrenches with me. So just to show you. Goes on something like that. And I'm kind of guessing that I'm going to have both these hoses go up and then go down. And they meet down there at the center spine. So no seal on this right now. This is just to show you. But something like that. I have a tensioner to put here. So the belt will be going something like this. Let's see. Kind of odd positioning, but I don't know if it's going to be long enough. This is just the belt that came with the Corvette. And it's not going to be long enough, but anyway, it'll go something like that. I'll have an idler pulley over here, so really this will go something like that. And then this is be the only tensioner I need. And the air conditioning compressor will go somewhere down there. Let's see if I can. What size is that? So you can see there's room, but not a lot. It'll be going in there about like that. And same as the alternator, not much clearance, but you get the idea. This is for the clutch, magnetic clutch to drive the compressor. But that's the plan. I haven't figured this out yet for mounting, but I have room for it. So I have to fab some mounts, and then I have to have an idler, because this is not going to work. So the belt will go across to the idler down to the alternator. Nice small unit. Another look at what we got going. In there like swimwear, we used to say working in Hawaii. I'm happy with that alternator mount. Belt looks like it's going to be pretty straight. That's important. 7,000 RPM, you don't want to throw a belt. Check it out from the other side. Anybody has any good ideas on how to mount that AC? I'm all ears. I have to mount to the side of the block and create a mount for that AC compressor. So I do have some holes down there, but it's not going to be easy because there's not a lot of room right there. But there's the same amount of room as the other side, and it's the same body diameter as the alternator. So it should work out. All right, guys. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the content. I always like to get comments. So leave a comment, a question, any ideas. It's always good to hear. As always, Curvemeister Klotz saying, keep the shiny side up and your nuts tight.